Hello there, Master Hellish here, and welcome to my Kerbal Space Program Let's Play. But today's a little bit of a different episode. Those regular viewers of mine who are following the series will notice that the Space Centre looks incredibly different, and that's because we are taking a sidestep away from my normal career path, and we've come into this alternate reality where I have everything. Yes, we're in sandbox mode, everything's fully researched, everything has been purchased, bought and unlocked, and the reason is that I got a message asking me to do a vertical takeoff vehicle. Now, I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly where I got this message. I can't remember if it was Facebook or Twitter. I've looked for the message, I can't find it. So if it was you, thank you for the suggestion. And basically, the reason why we're in sandbox mode is that I cannot wait to give this a go. I couldn't wait, I had to try it. So I came over into sandbox and we're going to have a look at an aircraft that I built last night in the wee hours of the morning. And we're going to give it a fly around and I'm going to show you it. So yes, I will be trying to do this in my actual Let's Play, in my actual career mode, later on down the line. But to do this properly, I figured I would need proper action groups for the command controls, and I would need to unlock a lot more stuff, and I couldn't wait, so we're doing it now. So off to the space plane hangar, where we're going to have a look at what I've built. So here she is, test jet number 1, and this is actually the first design that I came up with. The only thing that I've changed on this is that I decided, seeing as it is going to be an extreme vertical takeoff jet, I decided it shouldn't have wheels, and here we have landing struts instead. So it did start with wheels originally, but now it has these landing struts, and to be honest, the landing struts allow more clearance from the jet engines than the wheels ever did. The jet engines that I'm using, I've got 4 jet engines underneath. They are the basic jet engine, and then I've got 2 of the turbojet engines on the back. The first time I've ever used them, and I just kind of built this in a shape that I thought would be nice. These 2 front pieces on here are purely to bring the centre of lift forward, closer to the centre of mass. There's plenty of fuel in this craft, plenty of air intakes, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the overall view of the craft. It can hold the 2 crew, which are in the cockpit there, and the action groups that I've got here is bound to key custom 1. I've got the 4 jet engines that are underneath. I can turn them on and off with that key 1, and for key 2 I can turn the rear engines, the 2 forward engines, on or off as well. So we'll be using those 2 keys to give this a fly. And this vessel is 100% stock. There are no mods installed currently in my Kerbal Space Program Let's Play. I do plan on doing mods later on, but I want to pretty much do most stuff without first, and then when I kind of run out of things to do, then bring in mods of awesome things. So yes, I gave it. It's had a couple of test flights. It does seem to take off vertically. It does seem to be able to hover, and it does seem to be able to fly like a jet. So let's take it out to the runway and give it a fly around and have a go. Okay, so here we are on the runway with our vertical takeoff plane. We're going to put the SAS system on, and I've already started action group number 1, so those lower jets are now starting to warm up. We want to do it as slowly as possible. We're going to have about a one-third power. Let's bring up our different details there, and it does take a little while to take off. You can do it quickly, you can put more throttle on and it goes pretty much straight up, but the problem is that it's not as reliable, not as stable as doing it nice and gently. This craft, when flown nice and gently, is a nice little craft to fly. So that's what I'm going to start off with to begin with. We'll probably end the episode with crashing it, to be honest. But I just wanted to take off, which we're going to be doing any second. There we are. The jets are warmed up enough, and vertical takeoff has been achieved. Now you can see it's got a tendency, it is rolling back a little bit here, but we can use the ailerons and the wings. You see it's actually pitching very badly over, but you can actually fix that as long as you are on top of what's going on here. You have to be very much in control of the craft. Lots and lots of little tiny movements, correcting every little thing that you want to do. slowly bringing it around. And what I've decided is we're going to go for a little tour of the Space Center in our vertical hover mode in this craft. This forward momentum is purely based on the fact that we were leaning forward for a small amount of time. You can lean backwards and go that way, etc. So let's bring this round and give it just a little bit more thrust to get a little higher over the complex here. I thought it'd be quite nice to come. Oh, look, there's a pool. There's a pool over there. That's quite nice. Well, it's a pond rather than not a pool, isn't it? As we head towards the middle of the complex here, I thought it'd be quite nice to see if we can land on top of the vehicle assembly building. So let's see if we can get our landing gear out. We're heading up quite quickly. We need to reduce that throttle. 1/3 seems to be almost the perfect amount for this vessel. We don't want to be going forward very quickly at all. Our forward momentum is being lost. Our height is being lost ever so slightly. We need to bring it over to the left. There we are. And when we get closer, we can use the shadow to kind of gauge where we are. And now we're going to reduce that throttle quite considerably because we are good for a landing. There we go. Bit bouncy, but we're down. The craft is down and in one piece, and we have landed our vertical takeoff craft on the top of the vehicle assembly building. Like I say, you have to use it gently or else it will just spiral out of control and die. Okay, so we managed to take off vertically, hover around and land it on the top of the vehicle assembly building. Now we're back on the runway and we're going to do a more normal sort of takeoff. So SAS on. I'm going to put the throttle up to maximum, and then as soon as it's going, bring it down. So action group 1, bring the throttle down, and that just gives it a bit of a head start, and we can do a nice slow and easy takeoff again. Just a little bit more throttle than that, I think. There we go. So the craft should be close to taking off now. It does take a little bit to warm up, like I said. There it is. We can bring the landing gear in. And this time, instead of trying to hover around, we're going to activate Group 2, which is these rear engines. And we're going to start moving forward into a takeoff scenario. Okay. Once we're moving forward like this, we're going to slowly and gently increase the throttle, because this throttle does control both sets of jets, both the rear ones and the vertical ones. And there we go, we are moving forward. And once we're moving forward above 100 meters per second, if we want to, we can just completely kill those vertical jets, and our forward momentum and the fact that it is just a standard jet plane at the end of the day allows us to fly around as normal. And it does fly surprisingly well. You can pitch up quite steeply, considering it is fairly large. It isn't a humongous craft, and it does get some good amount of acceleration on this. It does seem to have enough in its air intakes. The fuel, I don't know what the fuel's like at the minute. We've got plenty of fuel on this craft. You can go for a very, very long time. And yeah, there we have it. We're going pretty good as just normal craft. You can see it does rotate quite well. You can even do a nice little barrel roll, and it doesn't really want to drop out of the sky too much. We're not going at a terribly fast speed at the moment, but that's okay. We're going to bring the craft back round, and we're going to try and do a vertical landing as well. So a standard manoeuvre in the to bring the craft around like this. We're going to roll onto our side and pitch up. Oh, no, too much onto our side. Now we aren't going very quickly, but we should glide through the air quite nicely. And should we aim for the runway? Let's be optimistic about this again, and aim for the runway. We did manage to get onto the vehicle assembly building, but we will see whether we can make the runway. So we're not very high up, that's fine. We've still got our jets, we're going forward at quite a pace. We want to be able to null out that velocity very soon. We want to actually just lose that forward momentum and glide in. as soon as we're off the water, I think, or maybe just a little bit before. Still banking a little bit so that we can bring ourselves in line with the runway. See if we can do that. No wheels on this, remember. We have to land vertically. We have no choice. I suppose you could scrape it along the ground, but that probably wouldn't end very well at all. Right, we're coming into the area where we want to think about landing, so we're going to turn off those rear engines, and we're going to throttle down and bring the vertical engines online. There we are, the vertical engines are now online. So at the minute, as those vertical engines are warming up, we're in a glide, and we're going to go from a glide to a hover. Now, I am going to have a very reduced amount of power on those engines. We are going to be dropping out the sky quite a bit, and we want to try and reduce our forward momentum, and we do that by leaning the craft backwards, and this does the same effect as leaning back in a normal aircraft, except we still, with the extra effect of having those jets, means that that forward momentum disappears. So 17 meters per second approximately at the minute, and this is going to be quite difficult to land. Like I say, when we was hovering around before, lots of small little movements. You might be able to hear my fingers going a little bit crazy in the background, doing lots of maneuvers. We're not going to actually land on the runway. We're going to land hopefully outside the space plane hangar. Seeing as we're going to try and land, let's put the landing gear out. We're still going forward quite quickly, but that's okay. We're going to drop our throttle just a little bit more. We want to come out the sky quite harshly. And I think at this rate, we're going to struggle to not hit. Oh, no. Yeah, but we survived. The capsule survived. I reckon if the aircraft hangar wasn't in our way and we was actually coming on the runway, we might have been okay there. But let's try that landing again. Okay, so coming in for the second time, we're gliding at the moment. We're going to attempt to do a landing like we did before. So at the minute, still in the glide, but we're going to throttle down and we're going to bring on the vertical jets to try and land on. Here they come. And it's just that forward momentum we need to be careful with. We're going to try and land where we failed to do so last time. 43, 42. We're just about a kilometre away from it. 36. I can use this test jet debris as a kind of a marker about how far away we are. Just down into the high 20s now. We probably do need to pull back on that a little bit. Let's get the landing gear down again. Let's be optimistic about this. Let's pull that craft back really just null out that foot. There we are. We're down beneath 10 meters per second. That means that we're hardly moving forward at all, and we are slowly going down. So I need to just a tiny bit more throttle just to keep us hovering for just a little bit longer. And now we're going to drop that throttle a little bit more because we're going to land probably quite soon. We're going forward quite quick, but here we go. I'm going to pull the craft back. Oh no, we've got a lot of forward momentum, but a bouncy but successful landing. I would have liked to have landed a little bit better than that, to be honest, but successful nonetheless. We did end up with a little bit of forward momentum there. Well, that is my vertical takeoff jet. I hope you like it. If you've got any thoughts, ideas or questions, please pop them down in the comments below. And one final manoeuvre, I'm going to do a really rapid takeoff at full throttle. There we are, full throttle. And as soon as we lift off, full forward momentum. And with a little bit of adjusting, we are successful. Brilliant. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to keep up with my normal Kerbal Space Program Let's Play, please subscribe if you haven't already. And until I see you next time, I've been Master Hellish. This has been my vertical takeoff jet in Kerbal Space Program, and I will see you next time. Goodbye. Yeah! Boom!